So the demand for Elliot Anderson increases from 115 million, and there's a player that think they can get him ahead of Man City. Welcome to your Forest transfer news. Hi guys, hope you're doing well and welcome to your latest Forest transfer news, and there's a lot to update you on. Coming up, we've got an update on Elliot Anderson, the latest situation in this saga. We got stories about a right back leaving Forest and a right back coming into Forest as well. So lots to discuss today. So make sure you've done the usual, like, subscribe, followed, all of that good stuff. Check out the sponsors, OK Jerseys. Use code FFTV for a further 8% off on all your football shirts. Okay, let's jump into this and start with the Elliot Anderson update. So we told you the other day that Man City are preparing another bid for him. The £80 million bid was rejected and they're going to come in with a better offer. But the stance from Forest is firm. Not only do they want 115 mil, 115 for Man City, but realistically the aim now is at 120 mil according to some reports. Forest are not backing down on the price tag, and rightly so. And especially with the latest development in this story. And this is still coming out of Manchester, just the crappy red side of Manchester. To be honest, I don't like either side of Manchester. But the reports are this: Manchester United are intent on signing Elliot Anderson, and the club's executives there are optimistic that they can beat Manchester City in the race to sign him. Jim Ratcliffe remains, it says, intent on trimming costs at United, but he'd be prepared to meet Anderson's wage demands should the player decide to join United ahead of City. Now, this is coming out of The Guardian in terms of United's stance on it. And honestly, I would rather rip my own eyes out than have a Forest player go to Man U, especially one I really do like. But what I will say, from a business perspective, Manchester United getting involved in this transfer actually helps Forest. Why? Because it creates supply and demand. It creates a bidding war. It's going to only work in Forest's favour. Now, does Elliot Anderson really want to go to either club would be my question. Like, he could be playing Derby next season at Man City. And with United, I mean, like, there's rats everywhere there. Like, I hope he's taken some, I don't know, tetanus shots or whatever you need against rats. But anyway, this is the story on Elliot Anderson. Now, there were further stories coming out as well, and I would say they were stupid to say that Anderson wants this deal done before the World Cup starts. Now, does that mean the World Cup starting Thursday night, or does that mean England starting a week later? I don't know. I don't actually believe those stories. I don't see why Anderson would be focusing on something he can sort out after the World Cup when he's got this huge tournament in front of him on his doorstep. Nor could I really see Thomas Tuchel wanting that to happen within the England camp. So I don't really believe those stories. I don't think this gets done before the World Cup. There are further reports to say that Man City are trying desperately to get this done before the World Cup, because they know what's going to happen. Anderson will play it, and he will play well, and that's going to hype him up and add more kind of onlookers onto him, more suitors, and potentially drive the price up. Forest, the one thing they have to do on this is not do this before the World Cup. I've said it before and I'll keep saying it again. I will be really annoyed if they crack unless their valuation is met up front. Now, one thing I'll say about Man City, why sometimes the price goes down with Man City is because Man City tend to offer a lot of the cash up front from deals I've heard about. So rather than doing like 5-year plans where they'll be like, oh, let's just call it 100 mil, we'll pay you 20 this year, 20 the other year and what have you. Man City tend to be like, right, we'll give you 50% up front and then do the rest in installments. So usually you get they get themselves a slightly better deal because cash is up front. Whether or not they look to do this on this one, I don't know. But we will have to wait and see. So that's the details on Elliot Anderson. I'm still saying, and I stand by this, that Elliot Anderson isn't actively pushing the move. He's not throwing his toys out the pram. He's not doing anything like that. He's focused on England at the moment. I'm not saying he won't move, but I'm still saying this one's in Marinakis' hands to decide. If Marinakis decides that no, Elliot Anderson stays under all circumstances, all costs, Elliot Anderson will stay, and he'll stay with no problems. If Marinakis feels that the price is met on Elliot Anderson, then Elliot Anderson will go, if that makes sense. So that's my stance on it. Anyway, get your thoughts in on all of that. And remember, I'll keep saying to you, this time of year, a lot of these reports, you still got to take some of them with a pinch of salt. Anyway, let's move on to the other stories about some more incomings and outgoings at Forest. And we need to talk about this guy. You guys remember him? Savona. So there is talks now that Savona might be leaving Forest. This is coming from Matteo Moretto, the Italian journalist, who's actually usually quite good with what he says. And he's the one who's broke it. And there's talks that there's looking for a reunion between Cristiano Guttiali and Savona at Atalanta. Now, apparently, direct talks have been going underway between Forest and them over the right back. And then this could have a knock-on effect on who Forest wants to get as well, which I'll come on to in a second. I'm not against Savona leaving, I'll be honest with you guys. I think this summer we need to be cutthroat. And if we're sitting here saying, Savona's okay, let's give him another season, see how he performs and all of that. Why? Why did he really make a massive impact? I think he was more impactful in the opposition box with some of the goals he was scoring. I still just the profile doesn't look right to me. He's too tall for me to be a wing back, a right back. He just feels a bit Dan Burn-like. I don't know. Maybe I'm just high-tist when it comes to my fullbacks. But I think we can do better, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not saying he was like a blowout, a washout like an Ndoye or something. But also, let's not forget, he's had a long injury layoff as well at the end of the season. So potentially we could see him going one way. And with that links back the player that Forest are apparently fighting the likes of Spurs for. And that's the Atalanta right back, but I kind of think he's a right mid, so I guess you'd put him somewhere in between and make him a right wing back, which he has played a lot. And this is Raul Bellanova. Now, I don't want to sit here and hype up a player that hasn't been that good. He's had a bit of a bad season at Atalanta. He's been there for 2 seasons. Season 1 was better than season 2. It's a bit like Prison Break. I think they want to cut their losses on him and move him on, hence why they're interested in Savona. But he's not going to cost much. I think he's 26 off the top of my head, and he's going to cost about 15 million euros. I'm not convinced on this one. I'm not convinced. And what convinces me even less is the team that Forest are potentially going to battle with for him is Tottenham. Do we want to be mixing up with Tottenham? We know Tottenham's recruitment is terrible. The thing I'll give him is he's versatile. He's quick as well, okay? He can play right mid, right wing, and right back. Where I think he struggled, though, and this is what puts me off him, is defensively when Atalanta have had to be in a really defensive formation, call it a low block if you like. That's where I think he's vulnerable to mistakes. When he's getting forward, I think he looks a lot better than he does defensively. Having said that, his output has not been great in terms of scoring goals or anything like that. So, I don't know. This one isn't one that excites me, but we do need some fullbacks. Like Einar keeps picking up injuries. Nico Williams needs decent left back coverage. I think Nets is good enough as coverage there. I haven't had any complaints with Nets so far. So, let me know if you like him or not. Raul from Atalanta probably cost about 15 million euros. So a lot of interesting updates there. Players in, players out, players rumoured. Let me know your thoughts on it all. Make sure you've liked and subscribed, and we'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds.